Peace to the people in the universe. It's your brother Tariq back again on the A1 podcast. All right. Um, you know, back again to build on what we talked about in our last video. You understand? And on top of that, to add on even more for more context of the probability of things that to come this coming week in inauguration. You know what I mean? There's so many threats of violence coming up. But as always, I hope that on this journey we call life, that I find you in a better position. We find you in a better place than we last saw you, and hopefully, you can take some away from this information that we share up here on this platform. Now, first of all, I want to talk about the 2021 riots on January 6th, right? That wasn't really, like I said before, it wasn't an isolated incident because of all of the precursors before that, right? Where you had the occupying of the Michigan Law House, right, earlier in 2020, right? Then you also had those I want to say terrorists, extremists, insurgents, or whatever that took over Oregon State House, right? About 2, 3 years ago, right? So now, as these extremist groups grow in number online, or what I'm saying, however, mainly online, but as they continue to grow in number, right, and with support for their various causes and belief systems, right, you know, it's a real threat of something really more jumping off on this up and coming Wednesday. You know what I mean? And as I go into it a little bit more, I will go ahead and issue you some, give you some information just from today's newspaper, right? That lets you know that is a lot deeper than what they want to say. Because let's be honest, all they really want to do is talk about the former president, right? And paint him out to be such a villain, right? But at the end of the day, he's just one man. The groundwork and the floor work has been laid for this man well before he even came into office. That's how he was able to become president. He even told you that back in 1990 something, that he could be the president of the United States just by running as a Republican. So that right there goes ahead and speaks volumes within itself, right? But let's jump into the news today, just from today, right? In California, it was reported that a Humvee was stolen from the National Guard barracks, right? Just think about that. It's a military-style Humvee was taken off the National Guard's property. You know what I'm saying? That's really all you can say with that. Like this ain't a car lot. You know what I'm saying? Where you might have to worry about a couple Rottweilers and pit bulls where you just go steal a car. This is a National Guard base. You understand what I'm saying? Where they went ahead and they just took that. They went ahead and stole a Humvee like it was a Ford. You know what I mean? This is where we at with this. And what makes it even worse, right, is that some people are looking past. They're looking past the threat of these so-called crazy. You understand what I'm saying? You're looking past them like, it's just a nut with a gun. No, I got it's an article here today from Wired, right, talking about the tactical gun training classes that ordinary citizens train. They pay for, and they're trained like special ops soldiers. You understand? And I want you to see, to really understand that it's not just in places like Texas. This is all over. You understand? Because I know right here in North Carolina, there's a couple of those kind of classes that you can sign up for and get the credentials and this, that, and the third as a well trained, like you're trained like you part of SEAL Team 6, Delta Force, or something like that. You know what I mean? And these classes aren't just held by random guys who look stuff up online and learned about guns, like gun fanatics. No, these are actual people who've been to these different like wars and veterans with numerous years of military experience. You understand what I'm saying? That are training the rest of these guys, and these are the same guys, mind you. Like I said, that's Wired.com, right? That was in the newspaper today, and that's just from what they were talking about, plus what I already know, right? So then you take that and you get to back to the Hill, right? The Hill was talking about it touched on the pipe bombs that I told you that were planted inside the RNC and DNC headquarters, right up the street from the Capitol building. See what I'm saying? It goes to let you know how far these cats is willing to go. Like it makes it even worse because we have a lot of assumptions because we look at our so-called respected news medias who've been lying to us for so many years. This is why it's been a rise in platforms like this because somebody has to inform you about the truth about what's really going on and what's not being said. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times they just omit certain things because they don't want to speak on it. They don't want to. They say it's to stop panic, but in all actuality, they believe that the general public is stupid, right? Why are they doing these different things? But again, you know that pipe bomb, those pipe bombs, those were real things, and it's credible. It's all over. It's all over the web, and all over different news sources, right? The eldest part was, remember, America's worst nightmare was supposed to be, you know, the original Asiatic man. You know what I'm saying? The Moorish man. Excuse me, as they would call us, the black man, right? The super predator, right? We're supposed to be their biggest nightmare, but what it turns out to be, their biggest nightmare is a man named Lonnie Kaufman. They talked about him in the Hill article, and they also talked about him in an NBC article today, right? Talking about that my man had mad guns, Molotov cocktails in his car that he drove to DC, right? That the police themselves call him their worst nightmare because he's a 70-year-old man from a small town in Alabama called Folkville, where they only had 1,300 people in the whole town, and nobody ever knew or saw this man before in their life. And this man is 70. He's 70 years old. Think about that. They said he's off the grid extremist, and he joined up with the Proud Boys to go up there to DC and take on the Capitol, right? Now, mind you, the reports that they're giving out at this point in time say that they don't think he had anything to do with the pipe bombs, but my man had about 15 Molotov cocktails with him and like 30, at least five or more guns. You feel me? So with that being said, these are the type of people that are that's going to be at these state houses on Wednesday. Mind you, it's not just in DC. They're going to be at all 50 state houses. And if they don't get what they want, it's supposed to pop off. So it's going to be very interesting this week. You know what I mean? You want to know if the banks are going to shut down. You want to know what's going to happen on Thursday morning, right? And it's ill because a lot of people are like, well, the way the government monitors people, how would they not know this? Well, the biggest thing is that people forget a lot of these people have already infiltrated into these different groups that we're talking about. They've been doing that since the early 2000s when the FBI came out and said white supremacy groups and extremists are the biggest threat to national security. These are domestic terrorists, right? But like I said, it gets even better because even guys like this, he's 70 years old in a town of 1,300 people. Nobody knows this cat. My man got mad guns and Molotov cocktails. Now, who's to say in a place like Alabama, which we know in the South, they're big on gun rights, right? Who's to say that he didn't take one of these tactical training classes? Just, you know what I mean? Think about it. These are the people that's going to be in all these places, right? It gets even better, right? It already says on Raw Story says the Proud Boys and Boogaloo groups, along with other armed groups, excuse me, the Proud Boys and Boogaloo groups, along with other armed groups, clashed as they advanced on the Ohio State House today. That was Sunday, this Sunday. So they're already in Ohio, already grouping up outside that state house ahead of the inauguration, which is on Wednesday. And then it gets even iller as you read the article because, again, like I said, it's a lot of different groups, right? But they have their own little agendas, and as they beefing amongst each other. Like the Proud Boys are a pro-Trump white supremacist organization, right? Whereas the Boogaloo is a mainly, from what I can tell, they're an all-white male organization that is anti-government. They don't give a damn about Donald Trump. They don't give a damn about Biden. You understand what I'm saying? They feel like we're being led into a communist society, and they don't like the way that our politicians are moving. So that's their point. And so from what I read today, they're already outside the state capitol in Ohio, arguing back and forth. That's the Boogaloos and the Proud Boys. But mind you, they got National Guard and state troopers out there, right? Everybody's armed. This ain't no, they're not carrying signs. They're carrying AR-15s, M16s, and AK-47s. This is what is standing outside. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to be honest with you. You'll be a damn fool to go down there and hop up there with your little BLM, Black Lives Matters little signs. You'll be a damn fool. And you'll be putting the target right on yourself. But wait, it gets better. So that's the Raw Story, right? Then the dailymail.com was also talking about how the Boogaloos had a call for all their members to come to all 50 state capitals. And, they're not telling you that you have to bring your gun, but, you use your own discretion. You see what I'm saying? That's them. We ain't even talk about Antifa yet, right? They all quiet. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think about it. You got the Boogaloos that making their presence known, right? Already. The Proud Boys were going to be there after the 2021 riot or insurrection on Capitol Hill, right? The Oath Keepers are going to be somewhere around, and we know Antifa's always somewhere around. So this is like you want to say like kindling and gasoline and all that other stuff from already a tense situation. And then on top of that, when you ban, whether he's the former president or the current president, you ban a U.S. president from the internet. You basically gave him cyber death, right? And that's a whole nother story in itself, right? But with that being said, I still hear some of my people running around here talking like this is your fight, and it ain't. And as a child, I'm pretty sure your parents told you, like my parents told me, don't go sticking your nose in other people's business. You know what I mean? You let these people from the Caucasus region fight it out for their little ideologies, because that's what it's going to be. And if it turned into a full-blown war, it turned into a full-blown war. But I'm not going to go over there and get myself into a situation or let anybody that I care about go get themselves in that situation where we have to start fighting and defending ourselves. I mean, it's even a report here, from CNN. And yeah, I know CNN is very unreliable, but it says it's a report that warns all black, right? And I hate saying the word black. Especially when it comes to our people, but black and Muslim communities and other communities of color should avoid all state capitals ahead of the inauguration. It's a warning for your safety. This shit is on CNN. You understand what I'm saying? And yeah, like I said, they're not the most trustworthy people when it comes to sources of information. But at the same time, if we're talking about it in circles and groups like this, and then they're talking about it, you already know. You see what I'm saying? There's some truth there. And you already know if these are white supremacy groups. And when I say white supremacy groups, that means like skinheads, neo Nazis, KKK members, and anything else that hates anything non Caucasian. You understand? So to go over there and put yourself in that situation, one, you're going to be greatly outnumbered. Because the majority of us who got any common sense and self-respect about ourselves are not going over there because we understand that we have nothing to gain from that situation. You see what I'm saying? Remember, you had that dude who was walking around all summer with his black military, Grandmaster Jay. You ain't see him nowhere. And you're not going to. Because no matter how much we like to, some of us like to think, well, damn, he's stupid. I wouldn't do that. Asiatic man walking around in full military gear with his crew. Putting a target on himself. But at the same time, he was right to fall back, just like the new Black Panther Party fell back, and all other groups, militia groups that we have, fell back, right? Because at the end of the day, they've been having their own issue, right? But we keep interjecting ourselves into this conversation, right? Because it's a big thing. And when I'm out here in the world on doing my 9 to 5 or one of my many side hustles or whatever, the conversations are in the same when I talk to people of the Caucasus region. They're not liking how a preferred sexuality is forced upon their children, right? They're not liking how the government is coming in and basically dictating their day-to-day lives. They're not liking how we just got $600 for stimulus, right? But they said they couldn't give us more money when most of these people lost their jobs. These jobs will never come back. Most of these people are going to food banks that have never been in food banks before, don't even understand welfare and things of that nature. So they're upset because they only got $600. And then these same politicians saying that, well, we don't have enough money to give you, more than $600. But in that same bill designed to give every American $600, they had aid to China, the same people that we have a national debt with. Then they sent money to Pakistan. They sent money to India. They sent money to all these other places. Israel, I've been told you we give Israel like $1 billion or something dollars for what? I don't know, for the Holocaust that we had nothing to do with, right? But the stuff that they're giving money away for is like asinine. They're giving India so many, I think it was India or Pakistan. I can't recall which one at this moment, but they were giving them so many hundreds of millions of dollars to steady homosexuality in their society. We're in a crumbling society, and you giving away hundreds of millions of dollars that you claim that you don't have to take care of your citizens to go to another country that I believe the dominant culture is Islam, where homosexuality is not permitted or accepted in any shape or form, any way, shape, or form, right? To study homosexuality. So to me, that's like taking a couple of garbage bags full of money and just flushing it down the toilet. Because that's essentially what you're doing, right? And then you're telling these people, no, we don't have no money for that. We give you $600. Knowing that your bills are back due for a few months. You know what I'm saying? And they want you to be all right with it, right? Now, as people of color, in this society, you're used to getting a raw deal. So you're pissed. You're trying to figure out what you're going to do from day to day to month to keep a roof over your head. So you're already kind of used to, all right, that's the bullshit they're coming with. All right, let me think my way around it, right? But for the Caucasian people, they're not used to this. They're not used to feeling like they're getting fucked. right? And the fact that they are feeling and witnessing and through all the programming and the smoke and mirrors, knowing that they're being fucked, they want smoke. They want all the smoke. They don't give a fuck if it's the government or whoever the fuck else in the way. They want smoke. Me personally, I ain't gonna do shit about it. I'm gonna step out the way. You know what I'm saying? Shit, you got beef with your people, go ahead and do what you do. You feel me? Because at the end of the day, while they over there fighting and they're installing, um, new forms of government and new forms of control behind the scenes, while all that's playing out, we still have a problem in our own community because we still have a lot of gatekeepers up here trying to get you smoking marijuana and still trying to get you to go ahead and take this vaccine. But that's a whole nother story. And a lot of people have forgotten about that. But at the same time, while they're rolling out the second dose, you should look and see how many people died from the first. You know what I'm saying? Last time I checked, it was like 20, 30 something. And, I know a lot of you will probably be like, well, that's not a lot, but you a damn fool. Because something's supposed to save my life. I don't want to take it if it's got it could have the opposite effect of killing me, trying to be proactive. And they're already rolling out the second dose, right? But that's another one of those things that is getting swept to the back. And at the same time, while your mainstream media is pushing the fear mongering about the rise of violence around you, you have to understand all this was orchestrated because once they go ahead and start shutting down these companies and locking down the country again, you knew a lot of people was going to lose their jobs. There were some jobs and industries that will never come back, even as defection rate, excuse me, I'm getting tongue tied today for some reason. As the infection rate goes down, and people are able to try to get back to more social interaction with one another and physical contact with one another. Some jobs will never come back, like assistants, like personal assistants. They're not come. That's a job that's done. They got all the computer stuff you need. You got your little PDA device or your phone, which can hold your schedule, your planners, and all this stuff. And then it pops up on your computer. It's all around you. So you don't even need this other person. Then on top of that, a lot of times people, if you are in some type of, if you're not in a direct consumer industry, most of your jobs can be done from home on the Wi-Fi. And that's where most people are at. And that's was something that I said in conversation with a few people from my inner circle. We talked about it like several years ago. How they want this to be a society where everybody sits in their home and they do everything from home without any real contact with one another, right? And it's kind of moving towards, I don't know if you guys ever read that book. It's called Fahrenheit 9/11, right? And it was talking about how the society becomes so wrapped up in technology that they don't read no more. Everything is instant download through computers and TV or whatever, and so that they were the society became easily misled. You know what I'm saying? Led astray because they're so used to getting all the information from visuals, right? And that's pretty much the point that we are in now. And that's why we're at the point with CNN misleading us, and for those who like Fox or MSNBC, they're doing the same thing. They're misleading them. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because I can't I can't express how sad it is to watch a lot of people still walk through in a fog with their head in the sand because it's just the reality. And a lot of people right now are not taking you're not taking this one day very seriously because it can totally shift the dynamics on the planet forever. You know what I'm saying? From that day forward. You see? So it's like when you get all this information in your face and it's telling you, watch out. You know what I'm saying? Watch your back. You know what I'm saying? Stay prepared. Because as of right now, I'm gonna go about my day as if any other day. But I ain't no fool, you know what I'm saying? And I'm definitely gonna be paying attention or stay on my P's and Q's, you know what I'm saying, while I'm on to my business because anything can happen, you know what I'm saying? It's just like that's what they were letting you know pretty much during 9/11. You know what I mean? That anything can happen. It was the start of a whole new world. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, you notice after 9/11, we popped up with all these mass shooters, just mad mass shooters. Now, since we had this pandemic, we haven't seen those mass shooters. Well, that's because those mass shooters are going to be at all these damn protests. You know what I'm saying? So understand, those the cats with all the survival training and tactics, and got all the super specified military hardware, you know, and they just want to kill all the non-whites, and you know what I mean? Like, just understand, man. All these people gonna be bumping heads from today all the way through Wednesday. If it don't pop off before then, you hear me? Because we trying to wait till Wednesday to see what's happening because we know something's planned already for that day. Now, who's planning it? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? What they got planned, nobody knows. But you know something going to jump off. You know what I mean? And me personally, I believe this is one of those things that you know it's a false flag operation. It's staged by all our operatives so they can go ahead and come in and install martial law and come door to door and start, you know, with the rest of their plan. You know, I mean, that's just my personal belief. Because at the end of the day, you know, even though I don't agree with most of these guys' ideology, I do see what they're saying. You know what I mean? We are now more under control than ever before. And again, you know, I'm an Asiatic man, so you know how it is for me as soon as I hit the door. But it's even worse now. You know what I mean? Like your movements are monitored way more. Your everything about you's monitored. You know what I mean? You know, I don't know how true it is, but I even heard in a conversation about how they're thinking about rating your credit score on your Google and Bing searches. So all you cats that just like to watch cat videos and world star fights and stuff like that, you probably have a 300 score or something like that. For all those people that want to get out and research Henry David Thoreau or you know what I'm saying Henry Clark or Frederick Douglass or Marcus Garvey, you know what I'm saying, or Desmond Tutu or some of these cats. Yeah, you might actually have a crazy high score. But the way things look right now, it's like you know being able to think outside the box. It's only seen as an asset in somebody else in the workforce if you know you are of some type of use to that employer. You know that's the way they see it. But right now, everybody's supposed to be a drone. You're supposed to walk alike, think alike, dress alike. You understand what I'm saying? You're supposed to watch the same thing on TV. You're supposed to be listening to the same type of music. This mind-numbing, culturally appropriated foolishness. You know what I mean? And the illest part is, you know, for most of y'all, like, man, this cat is just going on and on and on and off to the left. But this was all a part of the plan. You know what I'm saying? America has been getting dumbed down since the late 50s and 60s. You understand? And you can look that up. You know, it's actually a book called The Dumbing Down of America. And if you don't believe me, it's actually, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's written by a Caucasian lady. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't matter if she's Caucasian, brown, whatever, whatever. The fact is the information and that's in there is good food. You know what I mean? And you should read it and understand why they give their kids so much bullshit. You know what I mean? Because they're trying to train them mentally how not to think for themselves, just like they did with a lot of people around you. When you're in public or when you overhear conversations, sometimes just listen. Listen to all the goofy shit that come out of people's mouths, especially at a time like this is a very important time in history. Not even just for what's going on right now with the insurrections, but for us too as a collective people. You know what I mean? Saying that, the average Asiatic family right here in this country probably worth like $1,800. And you got like 5 or 6 people in your household, man. For all of y'all collectively to be worth about $1,800, that's a damn shame. And you thinking like, oh, the cars and stuff like that, they say liquid cash. You can look this stuff up. $1,800. And you thinking about all the Beyoncé's and the Jay-Z's and Meek Mills, bro, cut it out. That's less than 1% of us. Remember, it's a close to 50 something million of us. You understand what I'm saying? And they're saying that it's less than 1% of us. Shit. Only about 8% of, Asiatic men or Moorish men make six figures in this country. Think about how big this country is and think about all the people you know. Only 8% of them see six figures. I don't care if it's $103,000 a year. Only 8% is seeing that. You could think about all the athletes and entertainers you want to, but I'm telling you, you're missing what the data is saying. We are at a point where it's critical. We're not producing as many children. We're not getting married as much, and we're not sustaining any wealth. We're actually losing. How is it today in 2021 that we have less wealth as a community than we did in 1950? Hold that. Think about that. Look that up. Go ahead, look that up and hop in the comment section and come back and holler at me if you disagree. Because I'm going to tell you, once you look it up, you're just going to prove me right. We are losing wealth, we're losing land, and we're losing more resources each year because everybody wants to try to integrate into society. You cannot integrate into a society that is not for you. That is why you are upset because Black Lives Matter peaceful protests get tear gassed and beat down by the riot police and the National Guard or whatever, right? And then you watch these white people run up in the Capitol House and they didn't even run up and they walked in and had the door held open for them and some people were posing and taking pictures together with the police and stuff like that. You're upset because you still don't understand that society is not for you. You cannot integrate into a society that is not for you. It is not culturally for you. And you got to understand that, as an Asiatic person, uh, thinking and acting quote unquote black doesn't mean acting ignorant. You understand? It does not mean acting ignorant. It just means, shorty, you can wear your dreads, or your locks, or your bantu, or I forgot how y'all sisters say it, but you know what I'm talking about. Brothers, you can go ahead and grow your Nazis out. You know what I'm saying? Or you can wear your cornrows if that's your thing. Or, me, you see me, I like the short. You know what I mean? But it's you. Or like everybody else can wear a beard, but I need to shave mine. Nah. You see what I'm saying? That's just a part of who I am and where I come from, right? And I know that. And it's a source of pride of your presence, the way you present yourself is a source of pride, right? And so a lot of times when you go out into this society, you're chopped up by it. And they try to give you a dress code, on how you come earn your monies or whatever. But as we come more into this information age and into the know, you know what I'm saying, you will begin to understand why some of us who keep our locks or walk around here with the shells and the bracelets or whatever, just keep our spirituality alive, that we understand that society is not meant for us. And you think by just dressing a certain way or acting a certain way, quote unquote Caucasian, will help you get further in life. No, that's because you've seen that from those gatekeepers. You understand what I'm saying? And if you look at them, where they at right now? Last time you seen Al Sharpton saying something. What the hell Oprah talking about today? Yeah, I thought so. So what I'm saying is this: all that shit didn't mean nothing. They just was trying to hold it up in front of you like they was better than you. And at the end of the day, you know they were morally and culturally corrupt within. So, that should always get you in the end. That's my personal opinion. But what is not just my personal opinion is that anytime we try to integrate into society, we always fail. So, and the reason why we are in our position, in our predicament right now at this critical time, because somebody had y'all keep thinking that integration was the key. No, it is not. We are the only cultural group in this country that are not part, aside from the Caucasians, that want to integrate. See, all other groups come here and they assimilate. See, assimilation, right, is when you take on some of the cultural norms, like drink beer with the co-workers and watch the game, right, and chit chat, network, right. But at the same time, you are still you at your core. You're Korean, you're going to be Korean. You feel me? If you're from Saudi Arabia, you're going to be a Saudi. If you're from Nigeria, you're going to be Nigerian. So on and so on. We are the only group that once we get around them, we want to act different. No, that's integration. And integration always fails because they don't like anybody else. You understand what I'm saying? That's what that is about. So at the end of the day, I know I kind of got off topic a little bit. This is why you need to understand that is not your fight. Don't you bring your ass out there with them motherfucking banners and flags. Stay your ass at home. Read a book. Talk to your family or something. You know what I mean? But pay attention to what's going on because shit is crucial. We're at a very crucial junction, and as the energy and the planet shifts, you know what I mean? We got to dig in more and keep doing this work because, as my man Malcolm said, the chickens come home to roost. So let them take care of their own problems. You know what I mean? While we keep taking care of ours. We got people trying to do the right things. We got groups of people who went out and bought so many acres of land to try to create their own community, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? But it's going to take more than just a handful here and a handful there. We all got to do our part. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Hopefully, I gave you some insightful information or a few nuggets to think about. And, for those haters, let them hate. But for those who actually got something something meaningful, something helpful out of this video, you're the reason why I do this stuff. So hopefully I leave you in a better place than I found you. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, share, and I'll see you again later. Peace.